All right, everybody, welcome to the Poplar Grove Community Council monthly meeting, and this is actually our annual meeting this time. We hold this every March, so we'll have a few more exciting things today in terms of election processes here with our community council. So my name is Daniel Tutow, I'm the chair. I recognize Marisa, who's our secretary, who's helping us with the PowerPoint live stream. Great. We're excited to have everyone here. We appreciate the time you take to be connected, either within your own community or to our community if you're from outside the community. And we are using this mic. It's not super loud in here, but it helps the online platform to have good volume all the time. So if you don't use this mic, make sure you're really speaking clearly and loudly. Like sometimes we just have some comments from the back, and we just, as long as you're pretty loud, that'll help. But if you're presenting, it'd be nice use a mic, so that'd be great. We're just gonna work our way down the list. You need to share? Practice for next Next month, I also have a rehearsal, so I can be able to make the meeting. So we're just double checking that we have it. Sure this works without me here. So Marissa's gonna get in and do some screen sharing here. So first up on the list is fire department. They sometimes are gonna make it, sometimes they can. I don't see them in the room. If they show up later, we'll run background and get them into the loop as well. Yes, got it. There we go. We're almost.
You're doing so good.
All right, now we're on track to get going. All right. So after fire department, we always like to go with our police report. Detective Oliver is online, ready to present.
I am here. Can you hear me?
Barely.
Barely. Can you hear me?
Hey, if you heard me, that means you. That's good.
I can hear you. TV. Let's try it again.
Try one more time, Detective Oliver.
Can you hear me?
Where's your man?
Yeah, I'm here.
Great, so the floor is yours.
All right. Any questions, concerns that we're having right now that we can maybe discuss before I get into some of these numbers?
Nothing from the room.
Okay, we will. And I believe I showed you the new crime dashboard last month. Is that correct?
I don't think so.
Okay, so if you go to Salt Lake City Police Department, so slcpd.com, in the open data part of their website, you can open up the crime statistics, and now it's actually narrowed down to community councils. So you can click on Poplar Grove Community Council, and that's where I'm going to be getting the numbers for February. It is updated the first of every month for the month prior. So when we meet again, it will be for March's numbers. So that's where I'm going to be pulling the numbers from today. We've had in Poplar Grove 13 violent offenses in the month of February. We've had one rape that was reported, 2 business robberies that were reported, 4 other robberies. So whether it's a personal robbery or something that has to do with breaking into an outbuilding or something to that effect. There's been 1 domestic violence and 5 aggravated assaults in the month of February. So for a total of 13 violent offenses. We average over 3 years, 12.3 violent offenses. So we are currently up 0.7. So that's what we're looking at right now. For property crimes, we've seen 2 residential burglaries, 3 burglaries of outbuildings, 10 vehicle burglaries, 39 thefts. So that could be a beer run or shoplifting, and we've seen 10 motor vehicle thefts in the month of February. So 64 total primary offenses. Believe it or not, that is actually down 33% from a 3-year average. So that's what we've seen in Poplar Grove. Year to date, our numbers are up just a little bit. Year to date, compared to last year, we are up 5 calls in violent offenses, and we are up. Let's see here. We are up 2 calls in property offenses. So we are actually up 7 calls. So we're up 4.4% for the year to date. Any questions on those?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna pull up real quick our calls for police calls for service. You can also look at this on the website as well. We are currently at as of 6:55 today. We are at 67,122 reported calls for service. That's pretty significant. That's quite a few calls. So that is updated every 5 minutes, I believe. So that's something else you can get on and look and see what's going on. Click out of that. And yeah, and that's the numbers for right now. Are there any questions, anything that maybe piqued your interest?
Yeah, we have a question here.
Sure.
I have an unwanted person that keeps coming over to my house when I've told him I don't want to talk to him anymore. How can I legally stop them from coming over?
So you can continue to call a PD if it's an unwanted, or if they're, like knocking on your door or stalking or anything like that. I mean, you can call us anytime. But I also recommend you can call the county courts and get an injunction or a protective order placed on them. They're going to require some sort of history. So if you have police case numbers or anything like that, I highly recommend you take those in. And it is a pretty long process to get that a court order done. But that's one of the things you can do.
Great, thank you. Anything else? All right, Detective Waller, today seemed like a pretty easy run for you this time.
Yeah, I'm taking it. I'm running.
Sorry, actually, no, never mind. We got one more question.
Oh.
I live on the parkway there on 720 South and 1100 West. And there's been homeless problems there. People camping on the parkway, which that's probably the only state park where they allow camping. Well, it's not allowed, but there's the only state park where they have homeless people camping. I was going to make a proposal on how to address it on a minimal scale, like within a few blocks. And it does involve the police, because the first thing you do is you call the police to get somebody who's camping there removed. But the only reason I'm talking now instead of later, and that's because it appears you're going to be off the camera here shortly. And it is going to involve a little bit of police involvement. If you have any suggestions on who I would talk to, to get involved with it, as far as in the police department for homeless encampment problem.
Okay, so that some of that was a little bit garbled. Can you just repeat that question one more time?
A little bit louder.
I've called the police more than once, and they have responded, and I appreciate it. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, I live at 720 South, 1100 West. And, there's been several times that people have gone and camped back my yard. I've been broken into 3 times, by the way, since they put the parkway in. And the police have always responded, and they've been very good at it, very responsible, but it's been sort of insufficient. It's a recurring problem. Now, what I proposing is to, be a little bit more vigilant. Possibly have a couple of citizens keeping track, and as soon as the camp goes down, hopefully within 5 minutes, if not certainly within a day, we could contact the police and they could respond immediately. You know, if we could do this for like a short length of the parkway, say from Indiana Avenue to 4 South. And in other words, make it so there's nobody at camps. In other words, vigilant, people are not gonna want to camp there anymore. If they know they're gonna get kicked off in a couple hours. Maybe it can, you know, lengthen after, you know, the works on a short lane parkway. I'd like to see it for the whole parkway. The Jordan River Parkway is the only state park I know of where there is an encampment problem. You go to Goblin Valley, there's no illegal camping there. Or if you, Coral Peak Sand Dunes, there's no illegal camping there, but there is all along the parkway. Now, I know there are certain places like down at the fairgrounds, the police are quite aware of the problem there, and that's, you know, that's a pretty major problem, and that is not gonna lend itself to an easy solution. But anyway, like I'm saying, say between Indiana Avenue and 4 South, if we could, a combination of citizens reporting to the police immediately upon seeing a tent put up, and police responding immediately thereafter, you know, for a certain period of time, eventually people will get the idea that they're not gonna, you know, that they pick up a tent there on that length of parkway, that they're gonna have to move it. Anyway, that was long-winded, a little bit long-winded there, the reason I stepped in here is because apparently you're gonna be off as soon as I'm done here, you're gonna be off the air, and this does involve police. Who would I talk to with the police or coordinate with the police to try and put that kind of a plan into motion?
Yeah, so a couple things. I am going to stay on the meeting. I was just teasing about me running with no questions. So I will be in the meeting for a while. That's in a perfect world, we would absolutely love that, where you could contact us and we have officers available to go and clean or ask them to leave off of the trail within minutes. Now the hard part is because of the call log, call volume, and the officers that are currently on patrol, it's not always that easy, just depending on the calls that are stacked or the calls that are in the queue. Now, in the future, I know that the city is looking to get a full-time west side trail, so Jordan River Trail bike squad or squad to patrol just the river, and I think that's a huge step in the right direction for keeping the river area clean. Now the camping, it's all the way from Davis County clear into Utah County. There are campers all along that trail, so it's a pretty hefty lift in order to get it done. Now Salt Lake's, of course, just concerned in the sense of that's our area, our jurisdiction from Davis County line to 2100 South. So we are doing abatements regularly on the trail. The best way to report encampments or tents on the trail is through the app. I do not recommend, in fact, I highly discourage if a crime's occurring on the trail to put it in the app. That needs to be called into 911 or to 799-3000. We just don't get the report on the app as far as we don't get that anytime with any sense of urgency. So yes, I would like to see that plan in action as well. I just wish, or I hope that we could look at some other means. And I don't want any vigilantism, right? That's one last thing we need is citizens to go and start kicking people off the trail or anything like that. Friendly reminders of, hey, is a no camping zone or curfew situations, sure. But as far as going in and physically trying to remove people off the trail, I highly do not recommend that.
I agree that you do not want citizens interfacing with these homeless people for obvious reasons. It's extremely dangerous. I was just looking as possibly a more efficient way of notifying the police immediately and having a quicker response. And like I say, I wanted to limit the length of the parkway because I'm going to try and enforce it across the whole parkway that goes across 2 counties.
Right.
You know, it's not realistic right now. I'm not looking for a total solution. I'm just looking for maybe an experimental length of an effort, say 4 or 5 blocks, and make that, you know, immaculate, if you will.
So after this meeting, get in contact with me. I know there is a task force trying to do a similar thing in the North Temple region.
Okay.
Trying to take care of that. And of course, that's a little bit out of the area you're talking about, but we can see if that's working there to sort of do something similar.
I agree, we're getting out of scope here for the meeting, but of course, I agree with you 100%. There's no way a citizen, you want any citizen to approach any homeless person. That is not their job. That can be dangerous.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm not saying it can't go well, but it's not, it's just too risky for you to try to take that upon yourself. Thank you very much, officer.
All right, I think that's it for all. Thank you for the time. If you have any questions, he's an open book. You can feel free to contact him directly. Fire department, glad you guys are here. We have a great slide. Well, if someone wants to, do you have something to report?
Yeah, I can go over.
Yeah, come on. And we're using the mic. I mean, we probably hear you, but we have people online as well, and it just makes it nice and loud. Or you can just stand over there and yell. Whatever works for you.
Hi, I'm Captain Arnesen, Salt City Fire Department. We're at Station 6, my crew's in the back right there. I just wanted to introduce ourselves. I'm new to Station 6, so thank you for having me. Just to give you an idea of what we have over Station 6 is located 9 west and 8 south, just by Smiths. We do have a medic unit over there, which includes myself, an engineer, and 2 paramedics in the back. We provide ALS services, advanced life support for this area and surrounding areas. Also there we have 2 type 6s, which are wildland units. You've probably seen once it comes to that time, which is coming up in spring and fall, or type of wildfires. Anything burning, grass fires, that sort of thing. You can take those 2 units and respond to those 2 units. We also have at that station, we have a side by side that we use for the Jordan River Trail. If we need to make access to different areas. So those are the units that we have over there for part of my crew. We also have a medical response team over there. I'm not sure if you guys know too much about the medical response teams, but essentially it's a 2-person squad that respond to calls in the inner facility, inner core of the city. And the idea is to take their low line calls, I mean, calls that maybe aren't that emergent, that we can free up our unit so we can go on these calls when we need it. But that unit also has a social worker that's just new at that station as well. And they'll be responding as well on calls we need on what kind of social aspects we need for different individuals to call for the community. So we have that available too. They're going to be available Monday through Saturday, and essentially 8:30 in the morning to 8:30 in the night, 3 hours. So as we have over our station, really, as far as our call volume is concerned, we're pretty busy station over there. Wherever you want. Medicals at 6, we have 76 fire calls, 176 medicals, and year to date we've had 520 calls. Squad 6 has had 104 medical calls. The squad just responds on medical calls, they do not respond on 85 calls. So as far as year-to-date calls for the squads, looks like 263. I know we had a little, we were coming on from the call, so just stop by. So if I don't have anything, this is my apologies. We do have our community councils for our monthly newsletters. If anybody's interested in that, you can find that at sscfire.com. There's a lot of information on there that actually leads as far as fire preparedness, anything along those lines. You can also link to the city website that has information not just for fire department, but police and almost every agency, they have different newsletters that you can sign up for and actually receive your emails if you want to get an email from the city. So that's something we have. The chief does put out some type of response every month as far as awareness that he wants us to be aware of. And this month is basically on weather. We are transitioning into spring, which is good, but at those same lines, that can bring potential floods and those kind of things. So that's kind of our concern, just make sure everybody's just aware and look at your surroundings and be aware of any type of flood type action. We don't think right now, we're obviously paying attention to it. Our emergency management team is paying attention to the type of flood warnings that we get from the National Weather Service. Right now, with it being a drought here last year, this year we've got a lot more rain totals, which is good, but that could mean some type of flooding aspects. Again, we're not really that concerned about it. We just want to make sure everybody's prepared. So little things like low line areas, you're in an area that's a potential flood zone or something that's had a flood in the past, maybe that's something you should be aware of. And just pay attention to that. Little things around your house you can do, make sure your gutters are clean, usually it's filled with leaves. Sometimes people forget on the fall. Right now, you get time to clear those out, so if it does storm, make sure you're do water, because someone will go, same with your storm drains. When we go on these calls, a lot of times the storm drains get filled, from the streets, either plowing, leaves, mud, things like that, and it doesn't have any areas to drain. So if you have some rain in your house, and it's easy to clean off, please just take care of it. If you need any assistance, you can notify the streets department, once again, through either, I'll look at South Salt Lake City website and have someone come out to look at it and get it cleaned out and stuff. So, streets department will love to know our water department as well. So, those are the kind of just kind of the basic things that they have to look out for, that you can look for. One thing that we do mention, if there is any type of, we do have, which I hope we don't, but if we do, and there's evacuation notices, we just encourage everybody to follow those evacuation notices and evacuate if you're needed to. If you do some little things to think about, if you get you to the point where there's a flood area, make sure to stay out of the area with running water, even though on streets or something along those lines, it might not seem like it's really that fast water, 6 inches of water, if it's moving fast and pull you up. So, that's something to think about, streets, things like that, to the point where, we get increasing levels of water, we have storm problems, and, it can cause issues with the streets as well, where we're having, some of our water lines breaking, things like that. So all those things are coming into play with the transition from summer, from winter to spring. So that's just our note from the city that we want to bring up, and wanted to introduce myself. Anybody have any questions that I can help out with?
Can I just hear your name one more time?
My name is Aaron Arnesen. One other thing, if you want to get any other information, there's also, if it comes to that, I know last year we had, big ones together, we have sandbags and we have a lot of areas we get sandbags. They do still have those available in 2 different areas, and you can get sandbags and fill it yourself. I had it listed, I can see if I can pull it up here, if you want to get it. There's 2 locations right now that are still available. Anyway, that's on the Salt Lake City website as well. On Salt Lake City, once again, you can just go to slcfire.com, you can click on that and you can go to emergency response. It's pretty self-explanatory, and that'll link you to the Salt Lake City website where you can get more information. That's, thanks for having me.
Sorry to take up more of your time, but you mentioned that you have a social worker on your staff. How does one discern, when to call the fire department for a social situation versus, I'm assuming there's also a social worker on the police department?
Yes, so these are all things that were brought up through, over the last year or 2. So it's been a program that we've been building, and so far I think we've had a good success. And yes, we do have social workers, we have social workers. Right now, the way we work that is depending on the type of call. dispatch gets, and our dispatch are tied together, we send fire. So if we get a call and it says, hey, there's a social worker that's needed on this call, a lot of times they'll just look at that call type, whether or not there's a potential for it, and we'll respond. Sometimes right now, we get the police response and fire response on the same call. So really, it just depends on the call. So as far as if you do have a situation where you need that,
Go through dispatch,
what's that?
go through dispatch.
Go through dispatch and then you notify it's a 911 situation. A lot of times, what ours end up being, if we have something that's either a cardiac arrest or something, a family member or something needs to be, maybe they have need assistance, suicidal ideations or drug assistance, something along those lines. Those are all things that they can help out. Medical, we've had instances where we've had individuals in the community who can't get portable oxygen and they just don't know how to get it. So we have our team that works up in our, the main floor of the PSB, and they basically can go on those calls and say, okay, what can we do to assist you in your medications, get you to your appointments, get your equipment that you need. So those are all the things that team is doing, as a whole. So does that answer your question?
Yeah, that's perfect, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate you guys taking time out. If you need to leave early, you can feel free to grab a snack on the way out, so we have plenty, so. Yeah, knife, you don't want to eat the whole thing, cut down the carbs. Great, so next up we have our House Representative update. If you'd like to have the floor for a couple minutes, I know you kind of had a marathon. Any big things that we should be aware of in the neighborhood?
Just surviving the legislative session this year was all in fairness of myself, just so people know. Hi, everyone. It's been a while since I've been here, but my name is Angela Romero, and I represent House District 25. Representative Hollins represents House District 21, so depending on where you live in the neighborhood, one of us represents you. So Representative Hollins is everything north of the south, and I'm everything south of the south. And then either Senator León or Senator Jennifer Plum, or Senator, depending on where you live. But, you know, when things are gerrymandered, it's really kind of hard to figure out where people are sometimes. So, although most of my district is senators in the district, Senator Clemens, senator, I actually have 3 senators in my House district, which is not how that should be. But anyways, the legislative session was interesting this year. It was a really fast-paced 45 days. And there was a lot of bad policy from my perspective that fast. Utah decided they don't want to follow the EPA. So we're going to do our own energy plan, and we're going to continue to fund coal plants, and that might come off the backs of us as regulators. We don't know what exactly is going to happen there. And we also decided, well, not me, but my colleagues decided that diversity, equity, and inclusion was important to them, as well as sending out message bills when it came to public education. Whether they wanted to put 10 commandments on the wall, which didn't happen, thank God. And also they wanted to do chaplains in school, which didn't pass as well. So there was a lot of interesting things going up there. It felt like it was more political than it was on policy. I'm a policy one, so I like to focus on policy. Our budget was $2.9 billion. Some of the stuff that maybe you are concerned about are homelessness. We didn't give as much money as we'd like to homelessness, to address homelessness. I'm glad the state has started to tackle it and work with the city when it comes to addressing homelessness. We did secure the $2.5 million in mitigation funding for our cities that have high rates of people experiencing homelessness. And I think some good things that came out of this is I work on sexual assault and domestic violence as my area of expertise. And so I was able to pass a bill that will ensure the post, which is where you're going to become a law enforcement officer, you have to go through the post. But they're going to develop best practices when investigating sexual assault. Sexual assault in Utah is higher than the national average. And so they will do that, and they will be able to have law enforcement implement it. So when they're doing those investigations, they're consistent on that. The other thing on that area is in code, rape crisis centers really don't have a place. And so for the last 2 years, I've been working on legislation on that. So rate crisis centers now will have standards of care, and there'll be specific priorities when it comes to who can become a rate crisis center and what can be needed. Because what we're seeing right now is there's a lot of people that think they're life coaches, and they're giving people advice on things, but they may not have the best practices, they may not have the expertise or the experience to do that. And Senator Higgins had a bill to kind of fix that, but it didn't go anywhere. So rate crisis center was really important to me because there are a lot of federal funds that we don't get right now because we're not in compliance with PRIA and some other, I can't talk today, some other factors when it comes to qualifying for these grants. And so that, by establishing rate crisis centers, it has to be able to, if you, if a child is conceived out of rape and that person's being convicted, the mother can take away the parental rights of their perpetrator. That person will have to still pay child support. And with that bill was attached to how we process rape kids. I passed a bill in 2017 on that. I think it has been all rape kids, but want to make sure we're matching federal code so that we can qualify for funding. So those were some of the things that I was able to pass. And then Senator Alicia, I don't know if you saw the paper, West High School now has a full-on clinic. She's been working on that for many years. So I think it's important to show that we as Democrats, you don't know me, we're able to accomplish, have some of those accomplishments. And I was able to get $250,000 for Utah, which is Utah Coalition Against Sexual Assault. And I was able to secure another $150,000 for our mobile air monitors. And environmental justice is another important factor that I look at. And so I've been working with Dr. Daniel Mendoza for the last 7 years. And we have these air monitors on electric buses, and we have on the track lines, so we can monitor the air. So then we make policy recommendations at the city, at the school district level, and state and county level. So those are some things I work on. I also serve on the Federalism Commission, which is in a choice because I'm a minority leader, I serve on that. So one of the things the legislature did is they decided to eliminate the Air Quality Policy Advisory Committee, which I served on. And now the DEQ, environmental, will have to report to the Federalism Commission. So if you want to see an interesting meeting, I can send you the link to the Federalism Commission. But I'm open for questions.
Well, thank you so much, Representative Romero.
But you can find me over here.
Yeah, you can find her there. We also appreciate the work that her and Representative Hall has been doing. Really, I think they represent the West Side well. Specifically in the fact that there's a lot of things that happen in Utah that we're like doing that, and it's never all people that are doing it. There's a few people that are like, so, we now have a
Questions about the baseball park or the tax credit for downtown, come talk to me after.
Great. And we can also, if you have questions about some involvement, next month we're planning on having a presentation from our letter agent friends as well. So that should be a fun time. So we have your report. We'll go through that. We have all the slides ready for you.
Good evening, everyone. As committee members, I am Alicia, the mayor's liaison to your district, District 2. So, just a reminder, that is our webpage that you can go to provide feedback for any projects that are happening in your neighborhood. You'll also find surveys that have been completed and, a summary of the highlights of feedback from the committee. Public lands, for example, will have an update on engagement for the labyrinth area, so keep a lookout for that. Another reminder from public lands or news is that the Emerald Action Project team did a open house at Mestizo beginning of March. If you missed it, they have a survey. They've come up with 3 different visions that you can give input on. The survey closes on March 31st, and you can go to that website. Those are the 3 visions: meandering moments, dynamic districts, river ribbons. There's a 7-minute video on the website, and then after you view the website, you can give your feedback. Now, It's not that you choose one out of three, you can provide feedback on all three, and based on all the info that's gathered, they can either merge all the ideas to incorporate some of the concepts for each design, so that's the gist of that. Next slide, thank you.
Can I ask you, where is the peace labyrinth planned? Where are they planning to have it?
The engagement,
So physically? Is there a location? No, okay.
A lot of this is still in just like, what are things that you like kind of thing,
Okay.
as opposed to, here are things that we're gonna do. So they're not quite that far in the plan.
Thank you.
yeah, great question, thanks for pulling in. Another update from the Housing Fully Department is that there is a new hub, it's the Consumer Protection website or portal for residents to report any consumer related complaints. It empowers residents to actively participate in protecting themselves and neighbors. You're invited to report any scams, voice your concerns, seek assistance related to consumer issues. You can call that phone number, email Eric Romberg, and there's also the website. There's more information, so keep a look, or check that out. Also, a reminder, Love Your Block is an initiative at the mayor's office, and they have 2 grants. One ends this Sunday. It's the mini grant. You are able to apply and receive up to $2,000 for any type of neighborhood improvement projects. It could be many things. There's also a community action fund that's about $500, and that is open now until September. So if you have any cleaning projects, murals, anything related to community improvement, please take a look at Love Your Block. Yes, yes.
For the 512 grant, is that gonna be until the money runs out, or is it just like, it's open until September?
Okay, the question was, or is the $500 community action fund, is that available until September or until funds run out? Great question. So I don't have the numbers with me right now in terms of how much is available to apply, but they're hoping to spread it out until September.
Okay. Is that specifically for like this district or just like citywide? Like,
So the additional question is the funding available specifically for the west side or just, the entire city? No, it's specifically for west side residents, and it's also including Poplar. They're expanding into Poplar. And you can also contact our team from Love Your Block and ask those specific questions in terms of how much funding is available in total. So I don't know if this has been talked about, but the city is partnering up with the homeless resource centers to do a hygiene kit drive, and there are items needed such as toothpaste, floss, chapstick, washcloth, deodorant, all types of things that we need on a daily basis, and it's open now for you to donate until when, the 29th, so this Friday? Yeah, there are 2 drop-off locations. I believe one is the Sorensen Center, and there's another location, but if you scan the QR code, you can find out those 2 locations. Now, on April 2nd, the Sorensen is having a kit packing party. So if you'd like to participate there, then it's from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m.
So the community center and the Swanson Center are 2 different buildings, so you probably want to answer for the community center.
So it's Sorensen Community Center.
I
Thank
just
you.
want to make sure that.
You're right.
They should run that building. So.
You're right. There are 2 sections to that.
Multicultural center.
Correct, thank you for clarifying. Okay, so there's also a volunteer opportunity during Earth Day, and I think this has been mentioned before. It was, we should pass it.
Well,
Okay, so Earth Day, public lands is hosting that. It's a 3-day event, so Saturday the 20th, it's a cleanup. Monday the 22nd, tree planting, Tuesday 23rd, it's clean up along the Jordan River itself, so you're on boats, so. If you have more information, get it right there. Thank you. Homelessness update, there's a lot of information there. Please note that on April 12th, Friday, Pioneer Park, the city's hosting a resource fair, so if you'd like to volunteer or just go check out what resources available the city provides, that'd be great. This is new information, it just arrived today. There is a grant that's available through the Jordan, what is it, DNR? So I'm just gonna read it because it came in today. The Jordan River Cooperative Weed Management Area Grant Program is a program of the Utah Division of Forestry, Fire and State Lands. They are offering up to 100,000 of grant funding per fiscal year for vegetation improvement projects such as invasive species control, native plant restoration, or an adjacent to or adjacent to slaughter lands within the Jordan River Corridor. So I believe this, the fiscal years that the grant is covering is 2025, 26, 27. So the proposals, I think there's no due date there, but I remember it was mid-April, so we need to submit those grants. So I can send you the entire grant logistics and all that, because it's too much to put here.
Yeah, she updated it, Ray updated it, so
Yes,
now, yeah, they're gonna have a new deadline. It'll be, originally it was April 1st, wait, isn't that April Fool's Day? Sorry, so it'll be probably in a couple of weeks.
she gave you that.
No,
And thank you. Yes, I was hoping that they can just extend it further than like by the end of April, so I'm gonna ask Ray. Yes, because I think it's too, I mean, you have literally 2 weeks and a half to apply. I've got enough time.
I've been working on a proposal for the last 2 weeks, right now.
Wonderful. Yeah, thank you. Okay. The mayor has posted her 2024 goals on the SLC mayor plan.com. Please check those out in your own spare time. And our community outreach schedule for April is posted there. Now, I will be at Heartland Partnership Center April 10th from 4 to 6. Please let your neighbors, friends, family know they have a concern or recommendation, anything that you'd like me to take back to the mayor's office, please meet me there. And that's just my information, my contact information. So any questions, comments, or anything I can answer? Thank you.
All right, I think that was good. And then the intern is here. Anything to add, intern?
No, if you have any concerns, you can come talk to me after if you'd like.
Great, so, that is for all who is our city council representative for your District 2. All right, for the Sorensen Community Center, is your mom Edith?
Yeah.
Well, so we don't have Sean, he wasn't available to be here from Sorensen Center, but we have a whole bunch of flyers over here that are from Sorensen Center. So please, check one of those out when you're grabbing a snack, at some point, before you head out. So feel free to help yourself over there. Yeah, we'll include those in the recap as well that we send out. Speaking of the recap, if you're not on the list, go to poplar.sc.org. You know, sign up there for a mailing list. You automatically get added in to receive updates for our monthly meeting and then a recap afterwards, which includes as many of these PowerPoints as we can fit into the email, along with a link to the recording of the meeting if you want to relive the highlights. We're all needing that. So, great, next we have an update from our other side village.
Hello, just wanted to come give you an update on construction. I don't know if you've been past the site recently on Indiana Avenue, just west of Redwood, but we've been doing excavation since October.
Sewer lines are starting to be put in. We have some delays with water. You've noticed we have the lake pond out there for a while. And I work with the department, the water department, state level, to pump that water out and treat it, and then just let you know, be able to put it down for, right? So it had to be pumped, treated, diluted, and then pumped out. So that's commenced. We're doing that. It should be another week or two before all the water is removed from the site, and then the excavation will start again. So we had a little delay for a little while. So our current timeline right now is that we'll be ready to start placing homes in early spring, or excuse me, late spring, early summer, so June, July. We're hoping we'll be starting to put our first foundations of homes in. We'll have about 40 homes that we're building many of the units as modular units with several builders around the state. And so we will have 40 units that are already complete by that point. So we'll be able to start placing units pretty quickly as soon as we can put foundations in. So there'll be nothing for a long time, then all of a sudden there'll be a whole lot of stuff. And so if you don't drive by for a month, you might miss it. So keep an eye on it. Things are happening now. So like I said, sewer's going in now, then the other utilities. And then we have to do a lot of site excavation to do drainage and retention. We have to plan enough drainage and retention for a 100-year storm. So there's a lot to do there as far as that goes. But so that site would be able to handle one of those really mega storms without flooding. So that's what's happening right now. We are underway and things are going well, and we're just waiting for that stuff to be done so we can start putting those homes in. We currently have 11 people in our preparatory program. And so, and Mo is our director of recruitment. So if you have anyone, you know, you see people in your neighborhood, you do talk to them, you can always just refer them to Mo. They can go to our website and get contact information. But Mo Egan is our recruitment director, or they can just, you know, go on our website and get the contact information. So we would love to talk to anybody, and we're doing this next outreach event.
So we got several outreach events coming up. We're regularly going to the road home, the men's road home, 3300 South. We just did a outreach at the women's resource center in that area. We had 2 women that we interviewed that's now in our program right now. We've done barbecues at the new temporary shelter, micro shelter downtown. We've gotten a lot of referrals from case managers, homeless advocates, and I know one of the gentlemen mentioned that there was some homeless folks in the neighborhood. I'll give you my card and let me know exactly where they're at. We'll come out and start doing some outreach in those areas as well, so you can help the people out there.
That's when you guys can actually follow when you see someone that you think, you know, could help, and then he can go out and talk to them to at least offer them opportunities. And one service we hope to be able to do is if you have people that you're seeing that you think are, you know, would make a good fit, and you want to call and have, well, we'll reach out to them. So we're available for that now, and we'll be hopefully in place by this, you know, summer and fall. We'll have many units and residents on site, so we're excited. Oh, the donut, yeah. You guys ever opening a different shop on Redwood Road? 750 South Redwood. If you drive by right now, it's being painted neon colors. You won't miss it now because it looks like color wedding. Yeah. It is. So, and then we'll have a sign that will eventually be put in. The exterior of the building is our bright colors in the process of painting it. So you won't miss it now. But we hope to open, we'll have our shop open by the end of April. We are currently selling donuts online. We have a special, you can just order them online and have them delivered or pick them up. The donuts are actually being made at our culinary kitchen over at the Academy campus. And eventually we will build our kitchen that will actually create the donuts right there at the village site. There will be our commercial kitchen there. And so it's just around the corner from us, right on Redwood. These are the really fancy special donuts with, you know, all the cool, you get regular donuts too, but they're really cool ones with all the neat stuff on it. Unusual thing, kind of like you might see pink berry or what's the other one? Voodoo donuts. Yeah, so we're really excited about it, and you'll be able to come in and visit us at our shop, Harrison.
The name of the shop?
It's called The Other Side Donuts. And so just take a look, as you drive by, right, we do some middle of the block, 750 south.
And the website is theothersidedonuts.com.
Yes.
So they're gonna be associated with, I understood it's gonna be a grocery.
There will be, that's definitely the phase. Yeah, we'll have a small convenience store in phase one. Phase one's just small. That's one of the requirements the city council has. They want us to do proof of concept before the city release the entire property. So phase one will have a small one that's kind of a temporary until in the last phase of the grocery. There's a number of different things. If you want to know more about the full plan, you can look at our website and so we'll give you the
Thank you.
Great to see you. All right, we really appreciate, anyways, they're gonna be our newest neighbors, and so we want to appreciate them taking time to come and keeping us in the loop as we go along. So feel free to understand, yeah. Awesome. I don't think we have anyone from neighborhood house here, but, we always like to, acknowledge that both neighborhood house residents be here and the neighborhoods for the good work that they do in building our communities here, especially on the west side. We just want to go through some of the updates here for our neighborhood here with Poplar Grove. And we're actually going to turn the floor over to our neighbors over here from the Salvation Army to give us a quick little update on this weekend's event.
Hi, Kate here with my husband James. We the Salvation Army are hosting a little Easter egg hunt for Sherwood Farm. We piloted the two neighborhood elementary schools. The egg hunt, just so that no one gets crowned, will be age 12 and under. So we want to avoid it. And weather permitting, we'll have that. So this is just going to be on this coming Saturday, early Easter this year. Happy Easter, everyone.
It's great. We love neighborhood events that are very inclusive. We also quickly want to mention that the Salt Lake City Public Library has sent over notice that they are looking for space on their board. I think they currently have one spot and another one's supposed to open up in July. They can send me a link, but it's not an easy link. It's not a memorable link. So if you are interested in participating or applying, just send me a link, Daniel@poplargrove.org. I can forward you that email if you have any interest in helping out with the library. We also got a notice that we wanted to announce that the Living Traditions Festival that happens in May is currently still looking for volunteers. So if you have any interest or know anyone else that has any interest, they can email volunteer@saltlakearts.org, or you can just look up the Living Traditions Festival website, and I'm sure they'll have links there as well. The deadline is coming up on April 2nd, so we want to make sure we mention it this meeting, because by the time we have next meeting, it will already pass. As always, we want to remind you about the website, where we do our best to try to boost our organizational input. When the city has a new thing being built in our neighborhood, they usually open that up for public comment. And so we post those listings on our website, give you the opportunity to see what's going on. If you have input, you can let us know, but we can't do anything about it. What's better is just follow the instructions on each posting that is on there. And they usually tell you where to go, whether it's, to the city council or to the planning commission or to whatever it is. They usually have a deadline, generally about 45 days for input. So you can check that regularly, whenever we get into requests, we throw them up on there. We always like to keep a reminder about the open mic night at Sherwood Space. We always want to try to activate any places here in our neighborhood. And so they do a monthly, bi-weekly open mic night. So on Sunday nights, the first and third Sundays, they're at Sherwood Space. It's free if you want to perform. It's great if you want to just go and get some culture. Times they have some great groups that. We also wanted to mention we've started trying to do a new thing as a community council, where we highlight or spotlight local businesses. Last month we talked the spotlight was on Lenten recycling. This month we're spotlighting Square Kitchen, so they're right there on 800 South, across from Walter Square. Feel free to check that out on the website, poplargrove.org/spotlight. Or if you're just going to the regular website, it's underneath our Connect menu heading, and then under that is a Poplar spotlight. So feel free to check them out. They have a great story and do some great work here. And then, of course, we mentioned earlier, we want to give special thanks to the neighborhood house for hosting us here, as well as, we just want to mention that we bought our refreshments today from Liaison Flores, which is right on 9th West and 9th South, so right on the 9th and there. Great place, good prices, tasty food. If you don't believe me, go ahead and have some more. If you're online, come to a future meeting, you might have some other good treats here from our local community. Awesome. So before we get to the last section, which is the presentations, we did have, we mentioned our annual meeting that includes elections. And so we have a few election things we need to cover today. We're just going to quickly outline. Today we're going to be voting on 3 different main items. First is electing a new vice chair or re-electing, and then also secretary. And then after that, we're going to be electing in the new board members. Something actually they've all been in place, but we'll get to that as we go on. So first, we wanted to talk about just generally for those that don't know, according to our bylaws, we want to I'm just going to quickly read through kind of the purpose of our community council and the board. So the purpose of the Poplar Community Council, the purpose of this organization is to promote the well-being and interests of the Poplar community. So the 2 requirements for membership: individual membership shall be granted to any resident 18 years of age or older in the area served by the Poplar Community Council. And to recap again, our neighborhood community council boundaries basically from 900 South over to the 15 freeway, up to North Temple, and on the west it goes out until the city ends.
West Valley.
5600, what, like when and it ends out past it.
Where the antelopes are.
Yeah, where mankind ceases to exist is where our neighborhood ends. And then the other membership requirement, if you don't reside in our neighborhood, is granted to any property owner, civic organization, business, service agency, or institution located in the area served by the Poplar Community Council. So basically, if you have any affiliation on one way or the other, you are a member of the council. And then the membership of the council shall determine the general policy of the council, shall elect the board of directors, and shall delegate to the board of directors the management and the activities of the council. So the board of directors is comprised of, do I have it? Yeah. So just to let you know, the board of directors is comprised of the chair, vice chair, secretary, treasurer, and up to eight more members, general board members as well. And then we have other spots like that, aren't official board members as well. But just to let you know, the way it's structured is that the elections are held every March. So here we are for annual elections. Newly elected officers take their positions immediately. Half the board and the executive committee are up for election every year. So 2 of the executive positions, the chair and treasurer, are elected on odd number of years, and the vice chair and secretary are on even number of years. And each of the other board members are on a rotating basis, half on, even half on. And so, yeah, the board must consist of a minimum of 3 members and a maximum of 12 members. So currently at this time, we have 12, we have 11 people on the board, so we have a little flexibility. So we just like to go through that because sometimes you come to meetings, you're like, I don't know how this is structured, but we just want to put that real quick. So as far as the nomination phase, so I just want to be the vice chair. In the event of resignation, absence, disability, or death of the chair, the vice chair shall possess all the powers and perform all the duties of that office. He or she shall fill that vacancy until a chair shall be nominated by the executive committee and this action ratified by majority vote on the form of the board of directors at the next meeting board. The appointment shall be effective only until the next general election, at which time the balance of the term shall be filled by a publicly elected candidate. Fulfillment of this vacancy does not constitute a term. Any vacancy occurring in the office of vice chair shall be filled in the same manner as the chair of the secretary and treasurer. So with that said, just describing what the position is, we want to open the floor for nominations for the position of vice chair. So we already talked about before.
So
I don't know, just nominate.
I would like to nominate, Mejias. He is
currently a board member, but yeah, Ricardo doesn't come up and just kind of.
Well, I guess, well, before that, of course. So we have the first nomination. Does anyone else want to be nominated to be the vice chair? You can nominate yourself. All right, great. So with that said, we're gonna go ahead and close nominations. Normally we have speeches. No one's running against you, so unless you really want it.
No, just let's keep this going, man. Look, I joined 3 years ago, I bought a house here and I've seen the community engagement slowly increase over these last 3 years. And it's been like really heartwarming to see that we have an engaged community that actually cares. And so, I mean, I know I'm unopposed and really Daniel kind of threw me in the line across here. But I do believe that we have a great neighborhood, we have great neighbors who want us to like thrive, especially with all the changes happening downtown. This is exciting. I'm always busy, so if you ever see me just sporadically, blue line, I'll do my best.
All right, great. Okay, so with that, we're gonna go ahead and vote. We'll just vote by show of hands for anyone that's on the council that's present and online. You feel free to drop in the chat and vote as well. So all in favor? Opposed, if any? Oh, looks like you got the job. Oh, this, no. Oh, wait, 25 people online system.
Abstentions too.
Oh, yeah, does anyone else
Abstain.
abstain?
Yeah, that's just Robert's rules. So-
Yeah. We don't bother you. I'm right. All right, so awesome. Moving on to the next position that we have in here is for secretary. So just in terms of our bylaws and the roles, secretary shall keep the minutes of all meetings of the council and the board of directors, shall notify all members of meetings, and shall perform such other functions as may be incident to the office, sorry. Word. When staff, this responsibility may be delegated to staff. Maybe we get staff split. Any vacancy for any of the office of secretary shall be filled in the same manner as the chair or vice chair or treasurer. So we'd like to open the floor for nominations for the position of position of secretary. Dan Potts went ahead and nominated
Yes,
Marisa. Me.
I know what to do. I do.
Do we have any other nominations?
I just want to say Marissa's doing an amazing job.
Yeah, Marisa did an amazing job. Okay, so with that, we're gonna go ahead and close nominations. You want to give a speech?
No.
No. All right, so we'll go ahead and vote. Those present, all in favor? Opposed, of any? Abstain, of any?
That's what you gotta do.
Oh.
She's
I'm saying, but I don't-
voting for herself. I'm just saying. Good. Marcus, what do you do?
Okay, great. And then we just wanted to go ahead and vote on the ratification of board members who have joined since March 2023 and the election members. So we've added 3 members since the last time we met in March of last year. That's Liaison, Lucia Rodriguez, and Sierra Johnson. Is it with a J or yeah? Johansen-Garcia. And then Dan Ponce has been on the board for much longer than the past 2 years, but we're just ratifying him to get back on the schedule with the odd even years of voting. Does anyone else here want to nominate someone else or themselves to be a member of the board?
I did, but he up and left. He's not coming, I think.
Can
No, no.
you have them stand till we, I don't know them for.
Sure. Would you go ahead and stand and just introduce yourself as your name?
Hi, I'm Emily. I'm Sierra.
I'm Dan.
And then Lucia Rodriguez. Actually, had conflict. Great. Okay, since because we got room for one more on the board, we only have, we got room for 12. So if you are interested in joining the board, the bylaws do state that we can add you at any point from the year, we just said, hold on, officially at our next annual meeting next year. All right, so we'll go ahead and all in favor please, vote. All right. Anyone opposed? Anyone want to abstain?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Okay, we'll know that. All right, well, thank you guys, that's, we appreciate everyone that's involved and all of you that are on the board and still in the meetings, we appreciate that. So with that, we're done with the elections for another year, which is great.
Should be there. She was.
Okay.
Good.
Great, so, we had, two presentations. One might be cut a little bit short because we're a little bit late here, but. Okay, so we'll go ahead and, we'll jump on for Keegan. Do you want to go ahead and, take control of things, or do we? Or do we? Keegan's online. Oh.
I can.
Hey, Comfort, we let them go first? Or are you ready to?
First on the agenda.
Yeah. We were just giving us some back end messages about some needing to hop off. Okay, maybe Comfort, but let you guys take the floor first.
Okay, are you ready for, sorry, did you say you're ready for the lead and copper presentation?
I'm just trying to get, sorry, we're just getting kind of mixed messages. I'm seeing who needs to go first. Doesn't
matter.
So, is this your screen or is this, whose screen sharing right now?
Looks like Keegan there. Want me to share my screen? I'm ready to go if you guys.
Okay, yeah, let's go ahead with the copper and lead and then we'll hop on.
Okay, are you able to see that? Okay.
Yes.
Alrighty, my name is Dustin White. I'm with Public Utilities. Thanks for letting me come and talk to you guys. I'd like to just talk to you guys kind of about our lead and copper program that we're kind of kicked off. I mean, we've had it for a while, but the EPA's revised their lead and copper rules, so we have some new rules that we have to meet, and we're working pretty hard to kind of implement our program right now. So I'll just let's see, next slide. A quick overview. I'll just talk about lead in drinking water kind of in general. I'll give a background and timeline for the Safe Drinking Water Act and the lead and copper rule. Some of the commitments and services that the city has to help mitigate this. And then we've created a survey. We're doing a lot of outreach to try to get information from customers on what type of pipes they have. I'll have that at the end, and then hopefully we'll have a minute for some questions. Just quickly, how does lead get in drinking water? Lead typically isn't in our distribution system. When we sample in our system, we don't see lead, but in older homes, sometimes they have older pipes, and as water sits in there, it can get lead into it over time. Some of the ways that water gets lead in it is from old lead pipes, old faucets, plumbing fixtures, copper pipe that was joined with lead solder. One thing that we have a big focus on is lead service lines, which have been shown to have an impact on drinking water. And then brass faucets and fixtures that were installed before 2014, they were allowed to have a little higher lead content at that time. So some of those may have impacts. And then galvanized pipe, if you have these in your home, if they're ever downstream from lead, sometimes lead can collect on the inside of those. What are the health impacts of lead? A lot of people know that, lead is bad for us, but particularly dangerous for children under the age of 6, and they're more vulnerable. They can have impacts to their brain, behavior problems, lowered IQ, hearing loss, and learning disabilities. They have impacts on their body, decreased bone and muscle growth, blood. They can become anemic. Their kidneys can have issues, and their nervous system. Adults also can have issues, memory loss, lack of concentration, fatigue, joint muscle pain, high blood pressure, digestive issues, some reproductive system issues, abnormal function of their kidneys. But one thing we like to just stress is that there's no safe level of lead. So we just always like to mention that. So one thing that I mentioned was a service line on ways that lead gets into drinking water. this is one of the big focuses of our program and the federal rules. One thing that the federal government's implemented is that we have to identify what these pipes are, all of them in our system. And what's unique about this is typically we've only had information on what the city owned, and the ownership of a service line is split between the homeowner and the city. So we have a lot of information on what the city owns, but we don't have very much information on what private homeowners have. So the service line is basically the line that runs from the water main all the way to the meter and then all the way into your house. So one way that folks can identify their service line is looking at the pipe that comes into their home, where their main shutoff is, and that's what we've created a survey for. And we have a team that can help people inspect them if they don't know. And then if we find that folks, may be vulnerable to having a lead line, we can sample, and we have some other resources available. So this is where a big focus is right now. We're trying to find all of these pipes. Right now, we have about 90,000 service connections. About 60,000 of those right now are unknown on the private side. So we're having a lot of outreach to the community, sending out letters, door hangers. So we kind of want to get out and let you guys know that we're doing this. So if you see a door hanger or get a letter, that it's us, and feel free to call, and we have some resources available. So if you are found to have lead pipes in your home, there's a few ways that you can reduce your exposure, and they're relatively simple and kind of cheap. Well, some of them are cheap. The first is just to run your water and flush out any metals that may be in there. The way that the metals get in there is basically sitting over time. They can leach in. So if you're running your water, we've seen, getting water fresh from the distribution system typically will flush out most of that. And the way that you can do that is basically run your water for a second before you drink it. We typically recommend that people reuse that on plants or something that they're not wasting the water. But if you fill the water when it turns cold, a lot of times you can tell you're getting fresh water if it gets a little colder in temperature when your hand's under there. We recommend that folks clean their faucet aerators. Sometimes metals can get caught into there and have an impact, especially if it hasn't been cleaned out for a long time and you have old pipes. We recommend that you use cold water to cook and prepare baby formula. Hot water typically has higher metals in your water heater that can accumulate over time. So we recommend just using cold water. And then if you do find that you have lead, we ask people to consider using a certified filter to remove lead. If we find that you have a lead service line and it's verified, we'll give you one for free. We have just pitcher filters that are certified to remove lead that we'll give to folks if they identify a lead line. And then another way is, once you identify these lead pipes, to replace the service lines and fixtures that may contain lead. Also, you can use an alternative source such as bottled water if you know that you have lead, either through a sample or it's been identified. And then we like to remind folks that boiling water doesn't remove lead from water. A lot of people, think boiling is kind of a fix-all, but where it's a metal, it really puts it in higher concentrations if you boil it. I'll just go over a quick history and timeline of the Safe Drinking Water Act and the lead and copper rule. So lead was banned in 1986. In 1991, they promulgated the first lead and copper rule with the Safe Drinking Water Act. And then they didn't really do anything with that rule for a while. And then there was kind of a national crisis with Flint Water, where they had a huge issue with lead. And the federal government started looking at different rules to help protect communities. So implemented the revision to the rule in 2021. And then there's a set of guidelines that the city needs to meet by 2024. And the EPA, which is the federal government, is also looking at further improving that rule by October of this year. So we're on a timeline to meet some of these regulations. And the big one right now is just identifying some of those service lines. These are some of the key dates for us. I mentioned October 16th. We need to submit a service line, which would identifying what all those service lines are in our system. We do compliance sampling, where we sample 100 homes and just see the impacts if we're seeing lead or copper in them. And then there's some new requirements with communications. If we do find lead, we have to notify people within a certain time frame. Schools and childcare facilities are included with the rule. Schools were supposed to be sampled in 2023 by a new state law that went in place, but it allowed childcare facilities such as daycares to be optional. So all of those weren't necessarily sampled. So right now we're kind of kicking off, reaching out to them and offering free samples to see what they have there. Let's see. some of our commitments and services that we provide for the community. Right now, our priorities are children, and I think I mentioned that under 6 are the most vulnerable, so that's a high priority why we're looking at schools and daycare facilities. Environmental justice is also a huge component of it. Historically, nationwide, kind of disadvantaged communities have been higher at risk for lead because older homes, and sometimes people don't have the resources to replace those. And then older homes, just because that's where we typically find lead pipes. The majority that we find are 1950s and earlier. If your home was built before that, you most likely probably don't. And then that ban was in 86. So we're looking at, a lot of homes and looking to get information from customers. Some of the city's historical efforts are we remove all the lead pipes, and we have for a very long time if we find them on the city side. If we find lead on a customer side, historically, we've left, the whole excavate and asked them if they wanted to replace it while it was open and notify them about it. And then I think I mentioned our distribution system typically doesn't have lead in it. And because we've had such low levels of lead in our sampling historically, we're on reduced monitoring where we're only required to sample every 3rd year right now. Some of the services, I mentioned these, but if you don't feel comfortable identifying your service line and you don't know how, we have a team that'll come out for free and take a look at it and help you identify it. If your house qualifies, we offer free lead samples to see if there's any impact. And then I mentioned this, we offer free filters. It's just a pitcher filter certified to remove lead if your home's been validated as having a lead line. So some of the public engagement education efforts, we're going to a lot of meetings of these, presented to city council. We created this survey, which we're hoping it's 6 questions. We're hoping that a lot of customers can self-identify, that has steps to walk you through to identify it yourself. When we're visiting community events, we've updated our website and have some printable materials. Like I said, if you see people in your community or that have door hangers and have questions about it, most likely is us. So feel free to reach out and see if it's actually us. Because one big question we always have is if they think, somebody's trying to scam them for something. But we'll never ask for anything. Basically everything we're providing right now is for free. And then we've also created a few media kits. Let's see. And so this is our QR code to take the survey. Like I said, if you know what type of material your service line is coming into your house, you can just go to the survey, fill out a few questions, and it'll come to us and we can update it. Even if you don't have lead, we're hoping to find out all the non-lead lines as well, because like I mentioned before, we have 60,000 lines that we need to identify, and it's a pretty big effort with kind of a small team. So we're hoping that outreach can help. And if people don't feel comfortable, they can always call us and we can walk them through it. Or like I said, we'll come out and visit your home and help you identify it. We've set up an email that's lead@slcgov.com. If people have questions, we have a lead hotline that we have a few people manning. It's 844-LEAD-SLC. And then we have a new website that we put together, slcleadandcopper.com. So that's my presentation. Thanks for your time. If there's any questions, feel free to shoot them off if we have time.
I'm looking around the room. I don't see any questions. We really appreciate you taking the time to share that with us. It's important thing to hear about. Did we just get the city get a bunch of money to replace a bunch of our lead pipes?
Yeah, so conditionally, we applied for a grant/loan to get some money to help replace these. And kind of the first step in that is finding them. We need to find out where all these are. And then we've kind of secured some money that hopefully we can help replace them. So we're kind of in the first phase of it. But yeah, the money was a big step in helping folks replace these lines if they have them, and replacing city ones if we find them. So yeah, there was a kind of a meeting on it last Friday that I don't know if you saw or not.
Great. Well, awesome. Well, appreciate your time. Thank you so much. If you have any other questions, you can reach out directly.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
And now we'll move on to streets.
Thank you, and thank you all for being here tonight. Like, you're pretty sick of hearing me talk about the local streets, but I'll do a quick spiel because there's some new faces in the room. Livable Streets is a citywide traffic calming program. Our team divided the city up into 113 different zones. And we prioritize them for traffic calming based on data such as speeding, where crashes are taking place, socioeconomic data such as household living below the poverty line and household access to a vehicle, things like that.
Let's put him on the board. Let me not look at it.
Right now, there's, like I said, there's 113 different zones. We're working through zone 1 through 9. Those are dispersed throughout the city. 2 of them are Poplar roads. They're kind of on the east and west extents of the populated area. One is between 4th and 9th South and 9th West to the I-15 freeway. The other is what you see here, the picture I talked about. Runs from north south down to Indiana, between Redwood and Cheyenne, over by Edison Elementary. We've been doing a public engagement process. I should talk about what traffic calming is. Traffic calming is a whole variety of strategies used to encourage safe driving behavior, keep people driving at speed limit, and also improve the lived experience of people who live in the area, who walk and bike in the area, who stroll, use a wheelchair. Just getting around making you feel more comfortable in the neighborhood. So for the past roughly 6 months, we've been doing some community outreach about this. We have this down in Cheyenne in Indiana. We had a meeting at the school. We spoke with the school staff, and we have a survey online right now, which you're still welcome to take. We encourage everyone to take that. And then also coming in this neighborhood, there's going to be some of the upcoming zones are also in the Poplar project. So we'll be doing some more traffic calming in these neighborhoods in the coming months and years. So what did we hear so far? We heard that people really like there's a raised crosswalk just across Edison Elementary on Cheyenne. People really like that. We actually see that in the speed data as well. The average speed and the number of people traveling well above the speed limit is significantly cut down where that crosswalk is at. And several people commented they like it, especially due to its proximity next to the school. And so our initial proposal is just carrying on with that concept of just putting speed humps. 3 of them right now are proposed between 5th South and Indiana. Because we did see some speeding. I believe the average speed was about 5 miles an hour. Speed limit on Cheyenne. We also heard some comments on 8th South. People are coming off of Redwood Road fairly quickly. And so we don't have a final design for what we're doing there. We're looking into curb extensions, shortening up the crosswalk, narrowing the street a bit, making it safer for pedestrians and encouraging people to drive more slowly as they enter the neighborhood. Another speed hump on 8th South. And then, Keenan, if you wouldn't mind scrolling back up to Dustin, we have not sure who's going. We also got some comments about some occasional speeding happening on 5th South, and this area is being used as a pickup drop-off zone for children who go to school. And there's also a route on the west side of that big paved area where kids cross the street there. We're proposing a raised crosswalk and some curb extensions there to improve the safety for kids while at school. And that's really all that we have proposed right now. But like I said, the public engagement period for this probably won't really end anytime soon. We're constantly looking for feedback, so if you ever have any questions, we don't have a great URL either for tonight. But if you just Google Salt Lake City Livable Streets, it'll be the first result on Google. All of our contact information is there. You can reach out to us via phone, email, or take the survey online. We're happy to hear what you say. And what you tell us is results in safety improvements for the business. Yeah, any questions?
Are you guys doing like any forward planning in case of like the expansion, whether we got like baseball stadium going up or that whole area gets redeveloped? Or you like long-term planning on how you're gonna reduce speed so you're not getting like bottleneck zones?
Yes, once we have concrete plans. Unfortunately, a lot of the developments and stuff are still kind of up in the air, which doesn't really help us at all. Just knowing that there's gonna be generally increased traffic in the area kind of have to know specifically what streets it's gonna be on and stuff like that, but we do, I mean, we are looking at redevelopments that happen in the neighborhood and other plans that are more concrete in order to inform the decisions we make, whether it's these local neighborhood streets or larger border reconstructions. And then, yes.
Do you have any idea when the roundabout south is gonna be worked on?
She was asking when the roundabout on 10 West and 700 South will be constructed. I believe that project is currently activated, meaning that the city is looking to hire a construction contractor. I don't know exactly when the construction will start, but it is anticipated this summer. We're really excited about that one.
I just want to say, I really like the speed hump and raised crosswalk on the east side of Poplar Grove Park.
Yes.
On Emery, it's really nice. And is there gonna be one on the other side of the park? There's many kids crossing there and.
So we currently don't have anything planned for the west side of the park, but we are currently in the study phase of looking to put more traffic coming along Green Street. There's another elementary school on the south side of Indiana there. And also looking at doing some traffic coming along Indiana itself, now that it's become a more heavily trafficked road and its proximity to the Jordan River Trail, the Poplar Grove Park, the elementary school that I can't remember the name of, that's just like in Indiana up there. Parkview, yes.
Nothing on the, on.
As of now, no, our little streets will be, and actually, I don't know exactly what zone it is, like I said, it's citywide, so every neighborhood is going to get the local streets in that neighborhood is going to get some form of traffic calming. And that's absolutely something that we would consider when the local streets is in that neighborhood.
You have any, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna ask if your guys' initiatives are also connected to the potential bike trail that's been going up 400. Is there gonna be integration with livable streets and maybe, I don't know, I bike that way every day to work and it's a little sketchy, like it's definitely the most direct route, but it's really exposed to whatever traffic is or is not paying attention while it's going over that bridge. Are you guys going to be involved in that or is that a project?
So there are some criteria for the livable streets funds. It has to be a street that has 3 vehicles traveling or fewer, up to speed limit of 30 miles an hour or less. And adjacent land uses that needs to be primarily residential. So I don't know that fourth. I'm
No,
not sure.
definitely not better. I guess I was curious if the two plans will coincide to create a more safe travel method for everyone involved.
Yes, Keegan and I, we were hired to do outreach for the streets program, but we ended up doing outreach for all of Salt Lake City Transportation Project. So we are very tuned into what's happening. We were here presenting on the fourth South Viaduct trails a couple weeks ago. So yeah, all of our together.
What's that, over on Emery and 700 over at Poplar Grove, you have those funky eyesores right in the middle of the intersection. What is that? They're beautiful. Yes. And they got like yellow lines when you go past the park. Is that for everybody just to try to follow the yellow line, swerve in the middle of the road? What's the idea about it? It's an experiment.
Yeah, so they slow turning vehicles is their primary use, and also a lot of traffic makes very simple. You put stuff in the street, people. We have a problem in Salt Lake City, especially on the west side, a lot of the streets are really wide enough to be in the plane line, and you have that, people feel like they can just speed safe like a freeway is. And you put things in the street and people are like, oh, there's something in the street, and you just slow down and pay attention. Ultimately, at the end of the day, it's as simple as that. We place them so that it slows down as many vehicles and just improve safety. Their names are in Salt Lake City, we've got them on Northeast, we've got a bunch of them in Sugar House. We try to make them look nice, and in the future, I want to do like a community project. And so we just want to make them look like less construction.
Love your platforms.
Yeah.
Okay.
This could be transportation. Anything's cheap.
Where's those called?
We've been calling them traffic calming rings. They don't really have a great name. we would love to actually plant stuff in them, but that requires planting some utilities and stuff like that, so we would call planters. But traffic calming range is planters.
You get to know the good way.
Yeah, so, these speed humps, we love them, man, but I mean, snow removal, give me a break. How are the two things working together? Cause I can't see how that works at all.
Yeah, so we have standard designs for a lot of, obviously, we tailor them to unique situations, unique locations. But the streets division and PD and fire have reviewed everything we build out on the street. The speed humps, we actually have another type of traffic calming called speed cushion, which is similar to a speed hump, but it's got two cutouts in there that are the track width of an emergency vehicle. Or the ambulance.
I was talking snow removal, that's it.
Yeah, so the snow, I mean, the plow drivers don't love them, of course, but we're weighing safety here with, you know, the occasional snowstorm. We put them all over town and, they have all this feature, so that's obviously so. That's
Cool.
Do you have anything to do with stop signs being placed?
Yes.
Okay, so there's four-way stop on the east side of Poplar Grove Park on 700 South. There's a two-way stop on the west side. And I find that very confusing.
Yeah.
And also, people don't stop. So if you could make that consistent, where you have two four-way stops on those two ends of the park, I think it would make it safer to cross. It would, you know.
They actually have that all the way 7 South. It has a stop there at Emery Street, but then it doesn't stop again until you get to Cheyenne. So all those streets are two-way stops. I mean, just FYI.
On 700.
On 700, yeah. So when you get on the 1200 West, 1300 West, 1400, all of them that go north and south, well, I have stop signs, but 700 is a sort of one of the through streets.
Open to the highway.
Yeah.
And this comment was on the north side of the park,
Yeah.
or the east and west.
700 South.
Facing 700 South, if you're heading west on 700 South, there's a four-way stop at where
On Emery.
the designs are on Emery. But then on all the streets leading west, there are only two-way stops. So 700 is a non-stop, you can go without.
And that's,
People go really
so
fast.
people speed on it,
Yeah,
Yep.
and they run
that's on.
stop signs,
Yep.
because they're used, anyway, you can't stop here, but you stop there. So
600 South from 1200 all the way to Cheyenne, there isn't a stop sign.
Right.
Yeah.
So you can go 80 miles an hour. Yeah, you can top in. That's all residential. Nobody really cares.
We'll definitely look into that. You can write that down.
20 now, so that is stop.
I don't know why this will be,
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you so much for the presentation. Appreciate that. With that said, we like to always make sure that if there's any public comments or discussion that needs to be shared with the council from the general membership, this is your time. Or forever hold your.
Thank you.
All right, so with that said, I love setting meetings earlier rather than running late. So we're gonna go ahead and adjourn. Feel free to reach out if you have any concerns or questions to info@poplargrove.org. Or we'll see you next month for the monthly community council meeting. Thanks, everybody.
Appreciate your service.
Yeah.